This is going to sound like a crazy question, but give it a chance. It's will, not does. Will the SEC regret adding Texas? I know that sounds outrageous. I know you're face painting right now. You wouldn't want to hear none of this stuff. You just care about the game. But don't rush to scream back at me. Are you kidding? It's a lot more nuanced than that. Will the SEC and its members regret, not does right now. I didn't say present day. Will they regret adding Texas? There's a lot to explain with this, but I would add this. The president of the University of Texas, I don't know him well, but I know him, a doctorate in finance, I might tell you, in an interview even admitted he's worried about the sport. He's not worried about them. He's worried. He said this. He's worried about everyone else. It is exactly what I've been saying all along. And I think eventually the SEC is going to regret this. Let me explain. The answer to will the SEC regret adding Texas is first no, and then yes. No in the short term. Texas is a money-making machine. You're going to learn this because Yahoo just did a story on it. You're going to learn this, and you will have no chance to compete. People don't understand the kind of money they have. It's a money-making machine. The league is and will be drunk with excess. Life is huge in the SEC for now. Okay? So it's all true in the short term. But I think eventually many of the league members will regret it, or at the very least, they'll resent Texas. And I think it will start the resentment, I believe, will start to kick in pretty quickly. Texas is not going to regret going to the SEC. I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, the president of the University of Texas said it. Hey, we're cool with this. We're going to get out of it exactly what we want. They know what they're doing. They know how they'll use you. I still believe, by the way, happy to explain it any time, an expanded Pac-12, which is now dead, would have been better for Texas in the long term. And I think there would be less jealousy and less animosity in the long term. But college football is NASCAR. And its passion is in the South. It's almost become, to a degree, a regional sport. The TV future, as ESPN has figured out and is pushing further and further, the TV future, the platform future is in the South. That's proving to be true now. 16 of the highest rated of the 20 highest rated games in college football so far involve SEC schools. But the answer to will the SEC regret adding Texas is best summarized by this weekend. Actually, if you wanted to be fair, we could say this weekend, the last one, and the one before that, but you get the idea. The national media, and the timing of this is really interesting. A lot of the national media has figured this out. And it's something I've been saying from the very beginning. And I think it was Colin Cowherd, maybe yesterday, I'm not sure which day. I just saw a clip of this in my feed. He's on Fox. He got this right. And then all of a sudden I start reading more and more stories that are playing out just like this. He said something like, the SEC is full of small town Ford dealers. And Texas is a row of Lamborghini dealerships. The small town South can't compete. He said something almost exactly to those words. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. You have to understand the mindset of a 17-year-old to appreciate where this is going and where it's going quickly, and it's already playing itself out. This is a collision course, right? Remember what he just said. It said the SEC is full of small-town Ford dealers, and Texas is a row of Lamborghinis. You can't compete. You can't. I know you think you can for now, but there's a different avenue to this game. Texas is the ultra-rich person who tears everything down to build a mansion in a town that has no zoning. In Austin, we actually had a term for this because it happened. We would call them McMansions. These people with a bunch of money said, I want to live there. They would just stick these giant houses on these tiny lots, and there was no real thing to stop it. And then finally, people said, oh my God, we got to come up with a rule. So eventually, everyone's priced out of the neighborhood. Here's what the SEC is going to love and then ultimately regret in its relationship with Texas. It's the best league in the country in the areas that produce the best high school football players in the country. It's a regional sport, a southern sport by and large. It's the most passionate fan base, no argument there. It's made up of schools that will do anything to succeed in football and spare no expense at succeeding in football. And that's pathetic at some level because many of these schools are the poorest states in the country. But football matters most in these states. And it matters most to people in these states. But you're going to have no chance against Texas. And this weekend is going to be the perfect example. And it has nothing to do with the football field. You're going to wish, the SEC is going to wish this. And I believe a basketball coach of Virginia who said exactly these same things today, who quit and said, I just don't want to be in this sport and this business anymore. Longtime Virginia basketball coach stepped down today. He didn't step down because of health. He said, I don't want to play in a game where it's all about finding a Lamborghini for a kid. Texas will own you. Got it? You can't match. So the idea would have been you had better be prepared. The University of Texas president in an interview almost hinted and said, gosh, I wish everyone was better prepared. So you're going to wish you would have had some rules because it's a money game and most schools cannot play this game and nobody is going to be able to keep up what Texas can offer. Texas has far more money, far more power, and it's in the coolest, most popular playground for celebrities in the country. You're going to say, well, Jeff, we all know that. I get it. Think like a 17-year-old. Think like a poor 17-year-old now. Try if you can, and you'll see where the advantage is. So the mindset of a 17-year-old high school football recruit, and then you'll see the built-in advantage, huge advantage Texas is going to have. See, college football, you know, it's not that I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I mean, I played. I know the mindset. I'm not going to pretend that it's about the accounting department or something like that. It's about college football used to be about regional appeal, knowing the area, and getting to the NFL. And they can be in reverse order. It doesn't matter. But those two things are what mattered. It's no longer a sport about recruiting and regions. It's about money, fame, and coolness. And you would be the same if you were 17 and poor. College players are now mercenaries and have no loyalties because they can. And a lot of people would say, well, that's cool. It's great. They're getting, it's payback and all that stuff. Doesn't matter. They are mercenaries now with no loyalties. And Texas can give them everything the rest of the SEC just can't. You can't come close to matching. To a poor 18-year-old whose dream would be a lot of money, fame, and the NFL. Okay, that's what matters, has mattered for a long time to an 18-year-old big-time recruit. An 18-year-old big-time recruit from the time they're 12 to 14 are told you're going to make it to the NFL. You're going to make it. And making it is about fame, money, and the NFL. That's it. Most of us would have been the exact same way. So I think you have to think of high school recruits like starving actors. Kind of the same thing. Texas and Austin is not just a big break. You get to live like a celebrity, surrounded by celebrities, and you get all the money and toys before you're even in the NFL. It's the NFL, living like the NFL before the NFL. Nobody else can offer that kind of life. Take a look around this weekend and tell me it doesn't appeal to a starving actor. So recruits would always have not always, most of the time. There was a regional tie. Okay, you got to follow the program near you and the state near you and the region near you. And then you want to go to the place would give you the best shot at being in the NFL. That was the Nick Saban expertise. That was the Nick Saban model. And he did it masterfully. I produce talent. I find talent. I cultivate talent. And I was in the NFL and I know the game and I'll get you. They did it. That's all that mattered until now.